Here's what most of us don't realize. Stress is contagious. Not metaphorically, but neurologically. When one family member system gets stuck in fight or flight mode, it creates a ripple effect that impacts everyone in the house. The baby picks up on dad's tension. The toddler mirrors mom's overwhelm. And you know this is true because even the dog starts acting differently when the family's stress peaks. In the American culture, we try to fix this as individual problems. We don't think of it as a family, we just think of it as specific individual issues. You got anxiety medication for mom, sleep train the baby, behavioral charts for the 5-year-old, but we're missing the bigger picture. You can't heal in isolation when you're neurologically wired to co-regulate with the people that you live with. Guys, this topic is most talked about with babies in that infant stage, but it affects every single age and every single season of life. Research shows that up to 15% of infants experience regulation issues. Honestly, I think in our experience as providers, I think that's a low number. I think it's happening to way more of our kids than we even realize. This isn't talked about enough, and I don't think it's talked about enough that it can start all the way back in pregnancy. So that's what this video is for. So we're going to dig into why co-regulation is so important, how it can affect everyone in the family, and what your role as a parent is to make sure that you yourself, as well as the whole family, is thriving and on the same page. So like I said, this can start so many times in pregnancy, and mom's stress when they don't feel supported, when they don't feel regulated, when they are not in a place of ease in pregnancy, that shows up in baby's life. They are so connected, right? As mom's cortisol, as her stress hormone levels rise, that is directly affecting their newborn, and their baby's nervous system is getting programmed and getting hardwired for that stress response. We see that all the time in practice. Maybe there was pregnancy trauma, there was some hard season of life that mom dealt with. They are way more likely to have a baby who is hardwired for newborn struggles, colic and reflux and latching challenges. Moms don't hear this as another thing to feel guilty about or something else you're doing wrong. That's not the case at all. It's to be empowering and to help you understand where are those struggles coming from, so you realize it's not just you got unlucky, your baby's just tough. There is a root cause issue, which means there can be a root cause correction too. So the way that we see this play out in practice is the families who are all working together to heal are the ones that get the best results. It's not just the kid who's struggling. It's not just the kid with neurodevelopmental challenges. It's when the whole family is regulated, then there's this environment of healing. And guys, research shows this. You can help your child regulate in a major way by you yourself being at a better place. The opposite is true too though, right? This can be a blessing or a curse. If you're struggling, if you are at the end of your leash, if you are hanging on by a thread, guys, I'll speak as a dad too. How's your patience in that moment? How's your energy? How easily can you connect with your kids and play with them and engage like you want to, right? Not just as they want to and as they need, but as you want to too. Your heart is in the right place, but you're drained, you're tapped out, your nervous system is fried. That's what some of the cool research has shown, is that literally the HRV, the stress regulation system of the nervous system, co-regulates, and it kind of syncs up when families are working on this together. That's one of the scans that we use at Thrive. It's called HRV, heart rate variability. It's measuring the vagus nerve. It's measuring the brake pedal in your nervous system to see what does that beat-to-beat variability look like, which is more or less your body's ability to handle stress. This is an example of someone who started out in a really rough place, right? You can't see it probably too well on the screen, but that white dot, their plot is all the way into that survival mode. And then as we went throughout that process, they get to a much more balanced and regulated state. And so there's not as short of a leash that they are losing their patience, that they are drained, because it can go one of both ways, right? For some people, that reaching your tipping point looks like an explosion, looks like anger, looks like frustration. For others, it's the shutdown, it's the exhaustion, it's the almost depression that you're just so tapped out. But either way, we got to build up your adaptability. We got to build up your neurological resiliency so that you can be that regulating force for your family. Guys, this is why it's so helpful that when your kid is melting down, when your kid is losing their sort of ability to regulate, how helpful is it to talk them through it at the moment, right? It does nothing at all. You need to get them to a place of safety. You need to get them to a place of ease before you can have that conversation, but you don't even have to coach them through that, right? If you give that toddler a big squeeze, if you give that even teenager a big hug, you have that physical contact, you don't have to tell them to take a deep breath. If you yourself start taking some deep, slow breaths, they will sync up. They will regulate with you. They will start to relax and calm down. So we've lived that, right? Hopefully you've experienced that as a parent. You've been that regulating force for your kid. We need to just be doing it all the time. And individual care a lot of times falls short in this way because the environment might still be full of stress, right? Think of it this way. Imagine you're listening to an orchestra and one instrument is perfectly dialed in and perfectly tuned and they're hitting every note, but every single other instrument is off key and missing the notes and missing the beat. It's painful even to think about, right? It's going to be really tough to listen to. That's what can happen when we just have one kid going through the healing journey, when the rest of the family, even if they don't have as severe of symptoms and struggles, the rest of the family is really in a rough place still. It's going to show up, right? We're going to see that relate to their nervous system, and it's going to hold the kid back. It's going to hold the whole family back from developing and healing as they should. So you don't want that scenario. You don't want the one instrument that's on and the rest of them that are off. We got to support your kid's nervous system by creating an environment of healing. Parents, I don't want you to miss how big of a deal this is. You can literally change. You can break the generational cycles of stress and trauma in your family by addressing this. You can address these many decades long patterns of stress in your family by working on co-regulation for your kid, for yourselves. You've got to be the example. You've got to be the one who is creating that environment of healing and regulation if you expect your kids to want that. I encourage you to think of it this way, right? We're in May here. We just had Star Wars Day on May the 4th. Think of the Force, right? Think of this regulation field that you want to create in your family. You want to create an environment where you are all supporting each other, not dragging each other down, because reality is going to hit, right? You, your spouse, your kids, you're going to have rough days. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel drained. You're going to get sick. Something is going to come up where you are going to get dragged down. You want the environment. You want that surrounding support system to lift you up, not be something that then you get pulled down with you if you're having that rough spot. So work at it, guys. It is worth working on. I got 2 action steps for you to wrap up with this. So 1, say you are already at Thrive. Say you're already taking care of that healing journey for someone in your family, but not everybody else. Let's get scanned. Let's see what's going on with you, mom or dad. Let's see what's going on with the rest of the kids or the siblings. I'm willing to bet that there is something that we can help support them with as well. And it's going to be truly a 1 + 1 = 11 sort of relationship when you start that journey. So that's one way I want you to think about this. And we always are offering scan discounts and opportunities for you to get that new patient scan for your immediate family members if you're already under care. Just bring it up with the team. We would love to help support you in that way. The other action step here is, say you're listening to this, you're like, wow, I can relate to that. You know your nervous system just tapped out. You know that your kids are being affected by that. Let's do something about it, right? Knowledge isn't power. You learn something here, hope that helps. It doesn't change your life. Knowledge is potential power. It's not until you do something with that knowledge that it actually makes a difference. So that's my encouragement, is take action on it. Let's get your own family scanned. Same thing. If a whole family wants to come in together, where typically that would be $150 a person, we're always offering family caps and discounts for that too. So just reach out to our team. We are here to help with that, because that is why Thrive exists. We fully believe that every kid, every family should be and can be reaching their full potential. And that's what we're here to do, to help calm that nervous system stress, heal from the inside out, and just help them be the best versions of themselves.